College basketball is back, and tonight we're welcoming to Raleigh, North Carolina. It's the Austin Peay Governors at the Atlantic Sun Conference and the NC State Wolfpack kickstarting an exciting 22-23 campaign. We're welcoming courtside alongside one of the greatest passers in NC State history, Chris Corchiani. I'm Evan Budrovich. NC State welcomes 4 graduate transfers for Kevin Keats' roster. What should the Wolfpack expect from this veteran unit coming in?
Well, Evan, it's going to be real exciting. They're bigger, stronger, faster, and most importantly, they're much older than last year.
This veteran roster also features an all-ACC performer, Traquavion Smith. He was all-ACC last year, now first-team selection. What does he bring to the table in year 2?
I tell you, Baby T's special. He's the straw that stirs the drink for Coach Keats. Came back for his sophomore campaign, hoping to put the Wolfpack on his shoulders and lead them to the NCAA tournament this year.
A second ever meeting, Austin Peay at NC State, and we tip things off here at PNC Arena. Ball in the hands of the new point guard, Jarkel Joyner, the Ole Miss transfer. We'll talk a lot about that tonight.
Well, I like him. He is special. One of my favorite players early on in the season.
3 transfers, 2 returners in Kevin Keats' starting lineup. There's Dusan Mahorcic down low, and he's fouled early by Elijah Hutchins Everett.
So he can do some damage down low. He can step out, hit the mid-range. You know, last year they didn't have that presence inside where they could throw the ball for a bucket. This year they have multiple opportunities.
Kevin Keats described Dusan Mahorcic as a bull in a china shop. He's assertive, he's aggressive for the 6th-year head coach, and an opening bucket for Traquavion Smith.
Okay, he can do it all. You know, what a great freshman year he had. He's coming back his sophomore year. There's things that he wants to work on and be a little bit better playmaker, get other people involved. Everybody knows he can score.
Smith met with multiple NBA teams this offseason, and they talked about point guard play, leadership, things he wants to work on in year 2.
And that happens, you know, with a little maturity, that's something that you'll see.
Here's a great freshman last year, Elijah Hutchins Everett, into the body of Mahorcic for the lay-in.
He's their go-to. 6'11", led him in scoring and rebounding last year, and he got a bucket early on.
Keep an eye out for that possible flop. That'll be a new call in college basketball, but nothing called. And the starting 5 for Kevin Keats. We've noted Smith and Joyner the guard positions. That's a tough off-balance look for Cameron Copeland. He's part of the Austin Peay starting 5. The Governors with Sean Robinson, a transfer guard, leading the way. And Smith wanted a foul there on the air ball. Cameron Copeland, he switched numbers from 24 to 41, but he returns in the starting attack.
I never know why somebody would switch numbers. I mean, what? You get that number, don't you get comfortable with it?
Well, of course, your number's hanging in the rafters here in Raleigh, so you speak from experience. Talked to Kevin Keats pregame. So many new faces. What do you want to see? He said team basketball. Maybe overstated, but with so many new faces, that's hard to find in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, there's no question. You want to be able to pass the ball, get everybody involved, and that's one thing I think you'll see from this guard deal. You're going to see one of the best guards. Oh, there you go, Jack Clark.
And the slam for Jack Clark.
He's another new guy that can really step out and stroke the ball. He's got a beautiful shot. Really nice pickup in the transfer portal for Coach Keats and the Wolfpack.
Clark is a transfer from LaSalle. He's an explorer, fittingly, at LaSalle. Comes down from Pennsylvania. Scored 10 points, had a double-double in the exhibition win over Lees McRae, but different competition tonight.
I tell you, when he shoots the ball, it looks like it's going in. Even when he misses, it always looks good.
There's an open three-pointer. And a fight for the boards here. Marcel thought he had it and called NC State basketball. How about the presence of Jack Clark early?
Yeah, Jack Clark gets in the passing lane, creates his own offense, and flushes it home.
Clark is 22 years old, one of 3 22-year-olds in the NC State portal that came in for Kevin Keats. He wanted age in the transfer portal.
You can't overstate, Evan, how important that is when you have guys with maturity.
And there's Clark with a 3.
Clark can shoot it. Tell you, Traquavion Smith's going to create a lot of people crowding them, and Smith's going to be the one who's really going to be the beneficiary of that because he can knock it down.
Smith made 96 three-pointers, the most by a freshman since J.J. Redick back 15 years prior. Here's the true freshman, Fauntleroy, the point guard for Austin Peay. 3 returning starters for the Governors and an early turnover. Now that's the style of basketball Kevin Keats wants to see.
There's no question. Joyner on the defensive end is as good a defensive point guard you're going to see. He's strong. He's fast. The one thing Coach Keats said about Joyner is he's so vocal, and that's something they didn't have last year. So Joyner's really been the one guy that I think has stepped up in preseason and really shown that he's going to be a difference maker.
Joyner handles the point in this offense. It was Terquavion Smith show last year as an all-ACC freshman. Look at Moharchich going to work. And he's stripped. It'll stay here.
Yeah, Dushan's a tough guy. He's going to give them solid minutes. They've got DJ Burns, a grad transfer that will come in, has got great offensive ability. So they've got a lot of nice older pieces that they can work with.
Clock down to 6. Into Moharchich. Great space, beautiful.
Tell you, great feed by Joyner. Dushan took it up with the left hand. He's big and strong and creates his own space inside.
Look at this drive by Perkins. Nice dish. And Hutchins Everett, who scored 15 a game last year for Austin Peay, hits the bunny.
Yeah, real nice touch with a little jump hook. He's got a real big body in that 6'11". He can get that shot.
Nice start from deep. NC State 2 of 3 from downtown.
They're shooting it well. Joyner, he's a veteran. You know, Ole Miss transfer. He's been in a lot of SEC games, so this is nothing new for him.
Joyner shot 35% from 3 last year. Tough drive in, and the dunk. That's Sean Duru-Gordon. Sophomore out of Queens.
That was a nice cut back door, nice pass.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you for Duru-Gordon? And a foul here will send us to break. 4 minutes in, NC State leading by 6. And Nate James for Austin Peay looking to make some adjustments when we come back. First look at Austin Peay head coach Nate James in his second year for the Governors. Great connection to this area. A former Duke Blue Devil as a player and a national champion, and spent 13 years on the staff under Coach Krzyzewski. Now he returns to Raleigh here tonight.
No question. Nate was a great player at Duke, but then went on and was Coach K's longtime assistant. So the knowledge that he has, that he brings to Austin Peay, is just incredible.
Nate played in 9 different countries overseas as a player, and he loves to build that professional mentality with his roster.
He's got that national championship, too. That's something special.
Banners certainly mean a lot in this neck of the woods here in Raleigh, North Carolina tonight. NC State with a transfer-ridden roster. And DJ Burns, the Winthrop ad, hits his first bucket.
Tell you, what a nice soft touch by the big guy, but Smith with the nice dime inside.
Now the defensive pressure from Joyner. That's an over and back.
That's what Joyner does. And I mentioned a little earlier, offensively, he is solid. He's a great leader, but it's his defense that does it. Beautiful look and soft touch. The big guy's got great feet, great hands, nice soft touch, can really score on the offensive end.
Burns was the Big South Player of the Year last season for Winthrop. 2-time conference champ, and an illegal screen on Burns for a turnover.
He got him. Yeah, he just hip checked him a little bit. Needs to be a little smarter.
Now the question for Burns this year, his offense is elite. How will his defense translate?
Well, he needs to get in a little bit better condition, and that's something that Coach Keats will monitor. You're not going to see him play long stretches of games, but he's too talented offensively to keep him out of the game. You know, defensively, you may see NC State play some zone when he's in the game.
There's the mismatch. Hutchins Everett missed the 3, and Burns, like a teddy bear, wrestled it away. That's a big body. Out in transition to Smith. Can't hit the 3.
Tell you, Smith didn't knock that down, but what a great look-ahead pass by Joyner.
Back to his sophomore. Hits his first. And more ball pressure, Morcell knocks it out. So when Terquavion Smith's hitting 3-pointers, it's a nice balance for this offense.
There's no question. You know, Baby T can really score, no doubt about it. It's going to be all the other things that he brings to the table this year that's going to make this Pack team different.
Terquavion 8th in the conference in scoring last year as a true freshman. 3-pointers was his strength. We noted nearly 100 triples. And now a steal. Baby T is loose.
Boom! Okay.
Immediate timeout, Austin Peay. We'll take the timeout. Terquavion Smith taking over 5 points in the blink of an eye for NC State. Look at the Wolfpack sophomore shining tonight. Terquavion Smith is a freshman. 23 of his 35 games in double figures. Here he sits with 7 points in the first 6 minutes.
He can score. He scores in bunches, scores fast, and he scores so many different ways. He's a real special player on the offensive end.
His offense has led the charge. 8 of 10 shooting for the Wolfpack tonight.
Austin Peay needs to settle down. They're turning the ball over. They need to just settle down, get in their offense, and the Wolfpack doing a real good job with the defensive pressure.
4 early turnovers for the Governors, whose Fauntleroy looks for help. Hutchins Everett backing down Burns with the clock at 4, and he's traveled. 5 turnovers. How do the Governors handle this pressure at NC State?
Well, it's tough. They may want to get a high ball screen or something. There's so much pressure on the point guard. Sometimes if you can alleviate that pressure with coming up, setting a pick, but the Wolfpack doing a great job turning up the heat.
Last year's starting point guard, Carlos Paez, he'll come off the bench for Austin Peay tonight, number 1 in the black. Look at that baseball pass to Morcell. And he draws a foul on Sean Duru-Gordon. Morcell's a neat question this year as a case study from Virginia. Played a ton of minutes, but not a big, impactful offensive player. How will that develop in year 5?
He's so solid. He does so many things well for the Pack. Defensively, he always gets the toughest assignment. He needs to be more consistent. He needs to take his offensive game up another level if the Pack's going to really be able to make a run and do something special this year.
Here's the special talent. Smith sending it out to Morcell. And a fight for the board stays with NC State. Joyner pops a 3. That was his first miss of the night, but another rebound. Look at this tussle for the boards, and Calderon comes up with it. NC State hitting the glass hard. 6 rebounds early. Now Elijah Perkins, the freshman point guard. The Hezzy is blocked.
Yeah, that's not what Austin Peay wants. They want to get settled down. They don't want to go one-on-one.
And Smith is called for the foul.
Okay, there's a lot of excitement. The first game of the year for these players, the coaches, the fans, and NC State has really answered the bell early on.
Calderon, 1,000 points in his high school tenure. Part of a young roster for Austin Peay. 8 sophomores, 3 freshmen for Coach Nate James. Fauntleroy, that's a tough look, and burns the board. NC State shooting 62%. A wide open look here. It continues.
Well, that's a 3. Nice knockdown by Casey Morcell. But the pass, the penetration from Joyner, and then the look cross court, that's beautiful basketball.
And the amount of open looks in the corner tonight, NC State's capitalized.
Everybody's sharing the ball and getting after it.
It's a balance of picking the pocket and earning those fouls as Joyner heads to the bench.
Boy, he had a good little start to his career at NC State, knocking down shots. He's got 4 assists, off to a great start.
This is a 10-0 spurt, holding Austin Peay scoreless for 3.5 minutes. A Governors team that had a tough year at the end of the season, 8 and 10 in the OVC, then switched conferences this year into the Atlantic Sun with the likes of Liberty and Queens University. Conference realignment, you have to keep your note card with you to keep track of who's where these days.
Between the conference realignment, transfer portal, game has changed.
This is in time. And Calderon soars in the air, but he traveled. That's a tough call.
It's unfortunate. Austin Peay finally gets an offensive rebound and he gets tripped underneath and gets called for the travel. But I know, Coach James wants them just to kind of settle down, get a little more rhythm. This is what happens. You go on the road, first game of the year, you got jitters. He didn't want to be down 22-6 early, but a lot of that has to do with the NC State pressure they're putting on the Austin Peay.
Kevin Keats goes to his bench. Breon Pass, the sophomore to Reidsville, North Carolina, enters. DJ Burns operating in the post. The fadeaway. Look at that pretty shot.
Well, that is soft. That's just a feathery touch from the big fella. And again, that's something that last year NC State couldn't throw the ball inside and get a bucket. They've got guys inside that can really, score.
And this will send us to break early. NC State on a hot streak. 67% from the field, led by its bench tonight. with DJ Burns, the Winthrop transfer, going to work in Raleigh. Of an aging roster, and Jarkel Joyner, Jack Clark, Dusan Mahorchich, DJ Burns join the party. When you graduate 45 points of scoring and replace it with nearly identical amount, that's a nice presence for NC State.
No doubt about it. You know, it's one thing to get a transfer, and you're seeing all these schools now go out in the transfer portal, but when you can go get 4 guys like this that have been there, these are grad transfers. They've been in battles and wars. Those are the kind of guys that you really can depend on. You know, you're not taking a chance on a guy. You know these guys can play.
And someone like myself pursuing a master's right now, grad school's tough. It's no easy task.
Let me tell you, school was tough for me. Elementary was tough for me.
Glad to have you here. Chris Corciani, I'm Evan Budrovich from Raleigh, North Carolina. Dewar Gordon, nice penetration. And Burns there to clean it up.
Unfortunate. A nice, real strong move to the bucket, but couldn't finish.
Austin Peay, 3 of 10 shooting, but 6 turnovers early. Quavion Smith putting on a dribbling display and can't hit.
Yeah, that's one that Coach Keats doesn't want.
Nice
beautiful.
Leak out. Boy, Dewar Gordon's had 3 layups he couldn't hit.
Yeah, beautiful pass by Paez inside.
The starting point guard for Austin Peay last year, Carlos Paez out of Venezuela. And Burns 2 for 2.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's got a feather. I mean, when it releases, it looks so nice.
DJ Burns was the 10th player in Winthrop school history to have 1,000 points in 3 seasons. That's hard to do.
Yeah, you don't see many guys with the touch that he has, the footwork. He's got great hands. He's just going to be an offensive force. Really reminds me of Zach Randolph, an old-time NBA player. They used to call the Junkyard Dog.
He does bring some toughness to NC State, one of 4 grad transfers in the portal. Clock down to 6. Hutchins Everett blocked by Burns. There's some Zach Randolph defense. Leads to an open 3. Burns plays on defense back. Yeah. Not going to run the court back and forth. He'll cherry pick on D. Leading to a steal. 8 Austin Peay turnovers.
Get it back.
The lob. Ooh. And a foul on Paez. That's a foul on the floor. All things considered, a smart play.
Yeah. Great strip by Baby T. Goes down, gives it up. That's one where Breon probably should have went ahead and tried to finish, but Paez got underneath. Could have been dangerous for Smith there.
2 steals for Quavion Smith, who subs out 10 minutes in. His first breather. Jarkel Joyner, he'll re-enter at the point guard position.
You know what's really nice for Coach Keats, he's got Pass, Joyner, and Smith all interchangeable.
Nice pass to Ross. He's not very close on his first 3. Ernest Ross only played 14 games last year, getting the kinks out early.
He's got a huge upside, Evan. You know, athletically, I mean, he can run and jump. He's very physical. He just needs to take his game up another level.
And Kevin Keats says, well, you got to put that a little closer to the basket.
Yeah.
His reaction tells it all.
Exactly.
He doesn't mind his team shooting, though. It's a 17-2 run. You don't say this often, fueled by defense, forcing 5 turnovers. No touch easy tonight for Elijah Hutchins Everett, the all-freshman standout in the OVC. And there's his second bucket.
Okay, that was a nice touch. That's a first good open look they got.
Listen to this round of applause for DJ Burns heading to the bench.
And the crowd really liked the way he got after it. You know, he played great on both ends of the court. Made some nice stops on the defensive end and had a couple buckets on the offensive end.
You see the hordes of NC State students tonight. They're excited for college basketball here in Raleigh.
It's a great time of the year. The first game, all the excitement and optimism.
And Ernest Ross joins the party. So he fakes the 3 after the miss, and he drives for 2.
You know, he's got a big upside. You know, you see a drive like that, very athletic, great slasher, and he's worked extremely hard in the offseason. He wants minutes out there. And
bounced back from an ankle injury. He had a kick ball on Jack Clark. You know, the NC State pressure, though, defensively, very impressive.
Yeah, no doubt. That's been the difference of the game so far in the first 12 minutes is NC State's really suffocating Austin Peay, not letting them do anything. NC State's created a lot of easy buckets because of their defense.
Austin Peay only committed 12 turnovers a game last year. 7 in this first 12 minutes. Look at this lob to Hutchins Everett. Nice spin move, and Ross commits the foul. That's his first.
It's a real nice entry pass inside. There was no weak side help by the Pack. Goes up.
Yeah, on the hand there.
Got him on the hand.
Not the high five you want.
No, not that one. Hey, you know, with Austin Peay right now, they've got 6'11", 6'9". I mean, they've got a really big front line. You're not going to see too many front lines as big as Austin Peay.
Austin Peay wants its first Power 5 win since 2011 in Knoxville, Tennessee. Governors made the NCAA tournament in 2015, so recent history. And Elijah Hutchins Everett up to 8 points.
You know, for Coach Nate, you know, it's going to take him a while to get in players, and he's going to have to hit the portal, but you know, the knowledge that he must have just being around Coach K all those years, it's not going to be surprising if he gets it going there.
Nate James is also high energy on the bench, too, watching him interact with his team. Former Duke player, learned a ton under Coach Mike Krzyzewski. His teammates were incredible. Carlos Boozer, Mike Dunleavy, Jay Williams. A lot of talent in those Duke teams in the early 2000s.
Hence a national championship.
Certainly doesn't hurt. By the way, this is the 40th anniversary season for NC State of its last title in '83, coming up in the spring.
Yeah, that was a special year. Never thought you'd see that, the cardiac pack.
And now you see North Carolina is one of the national champion favorites. Preseason all ACC with a ton of votes and the #1 team coming to the country.
You know, they've got 4 out of 5 starters back from a great run last year. But, you know, the ACC is going to be loaded from top to bottom. It'll be a great, great fun year.
NC State picked 10th in the conference, looking to bounce back.
Yeah, I saw that, and I think they're better than 10th. You know, I don't think they're in the top third, but you know, I think they're certainly better than half the teams in the conference.
And that's a shot clock violation. If you play defense like that, NC State could be pretty good. Casey Morsell and his defense playing well for NC State. College basketball, being a student and enjoying some home atmosphere tonight. NC State playing in PNC Arena with 4 home games early. DJ Burns finding a nice new home here in Raleigh. The grad transfer out of Winthrop, reigning conference player of the year, looked impressive tonight with 8 quick points.
No doubt about it. Came in, his 6 minutes have been impressive. 4 rebounds. He's got 6 points and a very nice debut. You know, when you're a newcomer, you want to make an impression right away, and DJ certainly has.
This is the first day of class for many of these students.
They're excited. They've been battling and fighting and lifting weights and running sprints. They're finally happy to get out there against another team.
Jarkel Joyner, one of those new additions out of Ole Miss, on a switch with Elijah Hutchins Everett. Gets to his spot. The hat is a pretty floater.
That's his game. His mid-range game is as good as anything he does. Great off the dribble, gets inside, uses his big, strong body to create space and hits the fadeaway. Just really impressed with his game.
And to peel back the curtain, Coach, you met him pregame and said, hey, you see my banner up there? That was pretty good as a point guard, too.
I didn't say that. I can tell you that. They asked him.
That was Coach Watkins doing the formal introduction.
Yeah, Levi said, have you met this guy? And he said, no, sir. Super nice guy. Here you go with Casey. Oh, give it up. Beautiful.
Yeah, Moharchik's there to clean it up.
I tell you, the thing I'm most impressed with 2 things. One is the defensive effort, but also the way NC State's sharing the basketball. I mean, everybody's getting involved. They're really making a conscious effort of hitting the open man, and that's something that's going to go a long way with this team.
This offense running like the Gonzaga Bulldogs, the nation's leader in assists last year. 9 dimes on 14 buckets. And a missed shot on the ISO ball. Kevin Keith could not have scripted a better start for his Wolfpack as Joyner joins the party. He has 7.
You're going to love him. That kid can really play. That backcourt with Smith and Joyner, that's got to be as good a backcourt any in the ACC. They both handle the ball, they both can score, and they both defend.
I think some folks in Chapel Hill may have a thing or two to say about that. There's a jumper for Guy Fauntleroy, but I know what you're saying.
There's some great players in the ACC, great backcourts, but they've got to be up there with any two. The thing that Joyner really brings to the table is the leadership and the veteran leadership.
Think of names like Alondes Williams of Wake Forest, Paulo Banchero of Duke last year, some of the greats. Maybe these two could join them. Well, Horchich kicks it out. And Morcell, he'll be given a lot of open threes this year. Shot under 30% last season.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of shots he's going to have to knock down. Like you said, he's going to have opportunities because Smith's going to draw so much attention.
Fauntleroy, a nice hezzy. And the amount of near misses for Austin Peay, a little frustrating tonight for Coach Nate James.
Yeah, Fauntleroy, he did the hard work getting there. He just couldn't knock it down.
Guy Fauntleroy out of Prince St. George County, Maryland. And Joyner goes left-handed for the N1.
Oh, boy. That is a beauty right there. Abracadabra. Kind of took him off the dribble. I thought he was in a tough place.
Like a great magician, make him look one way, finish the other.
Oh, that's a beautiful finish. Thought he was in trouble right there, and then he kind of scooped it up with his left hand. That's just...
that's David Copperfield action.
Going in his bag of tricks.
Jarkel Joyner from Oxford, Mississippi. Of course, we noted the Ole Miss, but Cal State Bakersfield, the Roadrunners, to the Rebels, to the Wolfpack.
Yep. Tell you, credit Levi Watkins, a great player here at NC State that came back, one of the new additions on Coach Keats' staff. That was his recruit.
And Coach, take me through that, an entire new coaching staff under Kevin Keats. He revamped it, reloaded. That's a hard transition from 1 year.
Exactly. For a head coach, that's tough. You got new coaches, new players. But the thing that Levi did immediately was bring Joyner. And whenever you can bring a player of that caliber, that's worth your weight in gold.
Austin Peay continues to shoot 31%. And stepping out of bounds, a turnover for Elijah Perkins.
You know, Coach James can't be happy. There's just no rhythm. There's nothing that's really flowing for Austin Peay. And again, his first game, but NC State's really turning up the heat on the defensive end.
Quavion Smith re-enters the game. He has 7 points. He quickly has 9.
I tell you, he slashes to the bucket, and he's such a great athlete he can finish at the rim.
He's so fast he makes fast people look not so fast.
I know one thing. I'd hate to guard him when I was playing. I always liked guarding a slow guy. I would never want to guard Terkurvian out there.
Tough look for Drew Gordon, and he banks it home.
That was a nice shot. Went off the wrong foot, but was able to bank it in.
That Dirk Nowitzki look just outside the paint. Sean Drew Gordon, a Missouri transfer. Big addition for Austin Peay this fall. The Governors have a tough week coming up. South Florida, Albany, a couple ACC foes in the non-conference. And Clark saves it. Now in transition. Smith, step through. Well, Horchich flung around and he's fouled. We'll take the timeout. NC State up 25 here in the first half. Welcome back to college basketball. Home 25 points for the newcomers tonight. Very productive in the debuts of these 4 NC State players.
No doubt about it. They're off to a good start. That's what you want. You know, you're excited. First game of the year. And they came out shining. And Coach Keats got to be really impressed with the way they've played.
Counter that with all the turnovers forced. Double-digit mistakes for Austin Peay tonight. I realize it's a microcosm, right? You're playing 17 minutes of basketball, but if this can translate to 17 games, you never know what you can get.
Yeah, you need to find consistency. You're going to play better teams, better players, but, you know, tonight they're off to a good start. You know, last year they struggled in these type of games, and this year, thus far, they're taking care of business.
Drew Gordon slips it inside. NC State has given up very little easy looks tonight. Clock down to 10. Robinson fighting for the ball in the post. And a nice jumper. That's Okorogro. Kalechi Okrogro. Try saying that 5 times.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was a nice shot. I think, like you mentioned, they haven't had a lot of open looks, credit NC State, but there they did and knocked it down.
Freshman out of Bronx, New York.
Interesting lineup that Keats has in here. He's got 3 guards, which...
that was tipped, so no travel, but Smith does give it away.
He's got 3 guards and a couple bigs. It's an interesting lineup, one that we might see a lot this year.
Austin Peay, 0 3-pointers tonight. Calderon steps back. And a late whistle. We have a flopping foul. So this is the new rule in college basketball here. If you are called for the flop, it is a 1 free throw flagrant foul. It does not count against your personal fouls, but the refs will now review this and check if there is a flop.
Well, I wish they had that rule when I was playing against some of the teams we played against. They were flopping left and right, but I think it's a great rule to have in basketball. It'll really create more offensive movement without people flopping and doing all these type of things.
So here's the explanation. The call is confirmed, and it's 1 free throw. Possession stays the same. It doesn't change hands with the foul. And this will explain it perfectly. You get 1 warning, and then that Class B technical foul, which is the 1 free throw.
I like it. I think it's something that's going to be good, and go out and play ball. People don't like the flopping. So
okay, is that a flop then? Looking for a foul if you're Quavian.
I think he got fouled, though.
That's right. No, I'm asking you as a former player. You've been in those moments.
Right. I think that if you're flopping and you don't get fouled, but they did make the call. I mean, there's going to be a lot of judgment kind of calls here and there. Hopefully it's not something that's abused, but I think that the player knows the potential for the call to happen. That's a good thing because now the player's aware of what might happen.
So it's Quavion Smith back to the free throw line. He has 12 points with that made bucket. Double figures with ease for the sophomore point guard. He almost has as many points as Austin Peay here with 2 minutes to play. Fauntleroy on the switch. Now Cam Copeland, who wants a foul, and knocks it in.
Nothing easy for Austin Peay. They took the shot clock down to very few and then hit a tough shot.
Copeland, the transfer from college at Charleston. Jack Clark, another transfer. And the friendly bounce in Raleigh.
Tell you, that's as pretty a shot as you're going to see. When he releases it, it's just beautiful.
This ball was all over the place. Fauntleroy lobs. A foul here on Mahorcic. Wait, an offensive. Okay, no, it is the foul on Mahorcic.
This is going to be the first free throws that we've seen all night.
Dushan a bit curious why he was called there.
Looked like Dushan was just trying to get out of the way there. He went up and almost flushed it right down on him.
These attempts are only the 3rd and 4th free throws for Austin Peay tonight.
Yeah, it's been a physical game. I tell you, NC State's done a great job of pressuring the ball without fouling. That's something you see some teams pressure, and they're playing hard, but they're fouling 70 feet from the bucket, puts the team in the bonus. So you've got to play smart basketball while you're pressuring.
Sean Robinson, the San Jose State transfer, goes 1 of 2. Keep an eye out tonight if the opponent misses a first free throw. This crowd goes absolutely bonkers to try to miss 2 in a row. Free food is on the line, and it changes the game for a college student. Nice ball pressure by Fauntleroy. And he's called for the foul on Joyner.
I tell you, Fauntleroy was like, Joyner, you've been on me, hounding me on this side. That was some great defense that he applied on Joyner.
NC State, conversely, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. And now in the bonus for the rest of the final minute of this first half.
It's interesting nowadays with the transfer portal is, how there's so many new faces and how they gel. And the one thing that Coach Keats told us before the game is these guys really like one another, that they had the opportunity to go to the Bahamas, and then they had all summer working out. He said this team is close, which is really difficult when you have all these new transfers and all these new players coming in.
4 grad transfers combining for nearly 30 points in this first half. And you lost me at Bahamas. There,
The Bahamas, there you go.
Spent a week playing 2 games down in Nassau. Not a bad trip. Team bonding in the summer. Clark steps back. And a nice tip, and there's Robinson climbing the ladder.
Okay, Robinson went up and got after it. Very athletic player, but great effort there, getting his hand on it and getting the tip.
10-second difference, shot and game clock. Burns in the post. That's a big man on a mission.
Evan, I don't know if you see when he catches the ball, he takes a dribble, he almost creates enough space so he can turn with the baby hook. Just a beautiful offensive game.
A perfect shooting night in Burns' debut with a Winthrop transfer. Copeland with 6. That's a bit strong. The shooting woes continue for Austin Peay. Joyner called offensive. And there's Peay sliding in.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that, but when you're up 49-21, a lot of those close calls go
Remember the new
way.
emphasis in college basketball. Backpedaling is considered holding ground. I love to play the devil's advocate with you, Coach. It is fun.
Absolutely.
As that shot goes strong at halftime to close things out. NC State transfer driven, and the seniors are stepping up tonight. Joyner right there with 12 points. DJ Burns with 8 off the bench. A balanced scoring night for Kevin Keats. In its home debut, 49-21 at the break. We'll have plenty more from Raleigh when we come back. Halftime here in Raleigh. NC State leading Austin Peay 49-21. With this being the start of the basketball season, we do want to focus as well on the Atlantic Coast Conference, one of the best in the country every year. And entering the year, North Carolina has a chance to be not only the best team in the country, maybe a national champion. You note Duke with the new head coach and John Shire, Virginia and Miami. And NC State sitting in the top 10. There are some great tournament teams from a year ago. We're thinking Miami, it's deep run. A lot of potential in the ACC.
Oh, it's strong. I mean, you always got Carolina and Duke up there. Duke's got 4 newcomers that are all freshmen that are unbelievable. And North Carolina returning 4 other 5 from the great run they had last year. But like you said, year in and year out, the ACC is always going to put a good product out there.
Coach, when you look at this top 10, who's a team that may surprise some people this year?
I think NC State. I'll tell you, they have really been impressive this first half. They've flown under the radar. They've got I like the nucleus. I like some of the older guys. Miami's got a good group coming back. They have a couple good additions. Virginia Tech will be interesting. But when you look at all these teams, there's so many new pieces. Until you get a little eye test of them for a few games, it's really hard to tell.
In terms of the All-ACC preseason, Armando Bacot, preseason player of the year. Caleb Love, his counterpart. And then Jaden Gardner, a really good addition for Virginia this year. Jeremy Roach, you mentioned some of that young talent for Duke. And here tonight we see Terquavion Smith in his debut.
I'll tell you again, all 10 of those guys are all ballers. Bacot had a great year last year. Wong led Miami. I mean, he was really fun to watch. Great athlete. But again, there's 15, 18 players in the ACC that who knows who will end up on the first or second team, but all those guys are just tremendous talents.
You're on my first team all-conference, Coach. I know that for sure.
Tell you what, I love that. I don't think I've ever been on anybody's first team, but I'll take it.
We'll take the time out and come back for the second half when we return. "12 points in 18 minutes for Terquavion Smith's debut.
He's out of the gates from the very beginning. The guy knows how to score.
Does he ever? That dunk.
There with the left hand. Here he just slashes and gets up to the rim and lays it in. It's an uncanny ability.
Then his running mate, Jarkel Joyner, the Ole Miss transfer, 12 points as well.
Well, he got off to a great start. Really love his game. Very strong. Hits a little step back there. Here you see him put it in, finishing at the rim. That's going to be a great little dynamic duo that Keats has in the backcourt.
Then he pulled off the magic trick late in the first half.
That was a beauty.
And then DJ Burns, the Winthrop transfer, he's got a fun game. Zach Randolph-like in the post.
I'll tell you, he's fun to watch. Got a real soft touch for a big guy, and I mean a real big guy. He's got a beautiful soft touch right around the bucket. Had a really good start.
He's a 1,000-point scorer in his career and did not miss a shot from the field in the first half.
When he turns that over that right shoulder, he creates space. He's a big guy and lays it in.
How about the field goal percentage for NC State? 61%. And then the turnovers for Austin Peay costly as NC State hit 5 threes. Yeah, that's a big difference for the Wolfpack. 10 assists on 19 buckets. When we come back, we'll gear up for the start of the second half. Wolfpack, Governors, plenty of basketball when we return from Raleigh. Welcome back to PNC Arena alongside Chris Corciani, Evan Budzovic, all NC State in the first 20 minutes. That man had a big part to say with it, Jarkel Joyner. Those kids are pretty excited about some college basketball. First of 4 straight here at home for the Wolfpack, and the first of 3 straight on the road for the Governors. At Purdue, at South Florida, at NC State to open up the season.
Well, that's tough. Tough for them, but you know, a lot of these kids that go to Austin Peay and some of the mid-majors, that's what they want. They want to be able to play in the big arenas against the big teams, and they're going to get that right away.
Let's not forget the biggest moment coming up for the Governors tomorrow, Election Day.
There you go.
Across the United States. Josh Monk, our producer, with a great bug to remind us at halftime. Get out and vote if you can tomorrow.
Absolutely.
If I had my vote for all ACC right now, it's Terquavion Smith. Great lob to Sean Robinson.
Well, I'll tell you, Robinson really got up by the rim. He was about 2 feet above the rim to lay it in.
Sean Robinson is a jumper. Ole Miss, San Jose State, now Austin Peay in his 3rd school in 4 years. Morcell hits his first 3.
You know, that's what Coach Keats wants to see more of Baby T with the penetration. Everybody collapses. He kicks it to Marcel and he knocks it down. Beautiful thing.
Another 3 for Copeland in transition. Raining buckets in the second half.
I don't know what Nate James said at halftime, but they came out 2 nice sets and 2 buckets for Austin Peay.
Quavion Smith asked to pass more this summer. But when he shoots, it looks pretty good.
I'll tell you what, he scores in so many different ways. That's the thing. He can beat you off the dribble. He can knock down the shot, a slasher. Just has an unbelievable ability to get to the basket and score when he wants to.
8th in the conference in scoring last year. That'll only continue to rise in year 2. Robinson one-on-one. That was ruled a deep 2, and he missed it. How does Terquavion Smith develop as a passer? You had 1,000 assists in your career. Well, he can drive certainly.
Tell you what, when he's going to the bucket like that, he may never. No, it's more a mindset. You know, he's got to. He's always been a scorer in high school. In the first year, had a great freshman campaign. But that's something that comes over time, and the NBA scouts have told him, listen, we want to see, can you make the other 4 better? Here you see him just slashing. It's just so easy for him.
Even his eyes on that play, though. He's looking off the defender and finds a way to score.
Yeah, it's just an ability that you can't teach that. That's just a God-given ability, and he is so talented. But when the NBA scouts say, listen, we want to see you make the other 4 players with you better, that's what he's going to focus on because that's his ultimate goal.
As NC State forces another Austin Peay turnover. That's 12 tonight. Smith, who was the 4-time freshman of the week in the conference. That may be the next step for him, becoming a passer and a leader for this program.
There's no doubt. You know, his sophomore year, he's got 1 year under his belt. He knows he can score. He now wants to win. In order for the Wolfpack to go to the next level, he's going to have to do a lot of things, a lot of scoring, a lot of passing. And he's that talent that can do that.
Elijah Hutchins-Everett cleans up the board. He has 8 points and 2 rebounds tonight. Drew Gordon is blocked. Joyner lays it off to Clark. And on the tussle, it goes off NC State.
I tell you, Clark didn't knock it down, but just a nice play by Joyner. That's the kind of thing that you really want to see out of your point guard. He just penetrated down, set the table for Clark, because he knows Clark. As a point guard, you have to know who can shoot and who can't. He knows that Clark is a shooter. You're going to see him finding them a lot this year.
Austin Peay shooting just 40%, searching for offense in the second half. Sean Robinson stripped by Smith. Terquavion lays it ahead. Beautiful play.
Beauty, very unselfish. That's one that Smith could have taken down. There's NC State pressure creating another turnover.
14 giveaways for Austin Peay.
Beautiful play here by Terquavion. He could have taken it, but you know what? I'm going to help out my backcourt mate, give him an easy deuce.
30 combined points between those guards.
Love to see it.
And with the loss of Darion Sebron from last year's team, in that guard-oriented scoring, look at Smith bank it home.
I tell you, he's slight of frame, but he's strong. There's a difference. He's not real big, but he's strong when he goes in there, gets banged, and is able to finish. Not many guys can take that kind of bump and score.
Smith put on 10 pounds of weight in the offseason. Strength coach Pat Murphy beefing him up in the conditioning program.
Pat Murphy's as good as there is. He's gotten all these guys a lot bigger and stronger.
And one opportunity for Austin Peay. Great drive for Guy Fauntleroy, who showed some strength on that finish.
Takes a nice strong drive up and over for the bucket.
Fauntleroy starts it and Smith finishes.
Oh, that's just beautiful. Hang time. Not only does he get banged on the shot, he just hangs in the air and says, hey, look how strong I am.
You ever play air hockey?
Oh, I love
down
it.
in downtown. We're like, Terquavion floats like he's on an air hockey floor. He just glides around the court.
You any good at air hockey?
My girlfriend beats me every time.
I love it.
You got to win those battles, right?
Exactly.
Give your partner the win when you can.
Need to do it. Keep him happy, right?
Good kick out to Clark. That's great teamsmanship, and it leads to a jumper.
Beautiful. That's just good basketball, Evan, right there. Again, unselfish basketball is always a positive thing.
Traveling violation. Night one, turnover woes for Austin Peay tonight. That's 15 giveaways.
Tell you, in the first 24 minutes, there can't be a lot that Coach Keats isn't happy about on the defensive end, the pressure, the rebounding on the offensive end. Everybody's sharing the ball. You know, that's a film that you want to watch more than once after the game as a coach.
All leading up to Friday when the Fighting Camels come to town. There's a scrap in the paint, and they'll stay here. DJ Burns knocked it out. Kevin Keats in year 6 wanted a difference-making roster. He goes to the transfer portal. So far, so good in the first 25 minutes. Smith is fouled on the 3. He'll head to the free throw line.
You know, that's the one shot. He's capable of making it, but you don't mind that shot from Baby T late in the shot clock. Early in the shot clock, that's probably one that Coach Keats doesn't want him to take, but he got bailed out there getting fouled.
Smith was a 70% free throw shooter last year, misses the first. And Terquavion looks to fill some big shoes in terms of returning scoring. Look at the history in the last 7 years. Not having that returning leading scorer back-to-back years. An opportunity for Smith to take those reins this year.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You know, it's hard when you've got one guy leading you one year, you know, but having him come back, when he decided to come back for his sophomore year and didn't go to the NBA, I mean, what a great thing that was for Coach Keats and the Wolfpack. And now he's here. He wants to win. You know, let's talk to him. It's not all about him. He wants to make an impact and wants to have a legacy on this program.
The caveat to that graphic, Darion Sebron led the team in scoring in the regular season, but Smith in ACC play put up 18 points.
Yeah, very few players. He averaged 16 during the year in all games and had 18. Most players go down in ACC, but Smith went up with his scoring production.
DJ Burns with a big rebound. Look at Smith calling for it in transition. Morcell through the middle of it.
Good, strong move. What was nice about that? Under control. Kind of took his time, went at his pace, used his strength to score.
Nice move from Elijah Hutchins Everett. Now he has to get back defensively. As the Wolfpack shooting 65%. A dunk helps the party.
I'll tell you, he's a pure point guard. He is fun to watch. Under control, finds the open man for the slam.
No easier look than that. Timeout on the court. NC State riding a 7-0 run early in the second half. The wheels just keep on turning for Kevin Keats' club. This squad's rolling tonight. games, won a national title at Duke. He spent 12 years with Coach Mike Krzyzewski, and here this week, reunited with the Duke head coach. They practiced on Duke's campus leading into this game.
Yeah, how cool is that to have Coach K there and practice where you went to school? You love hearing stories like that where a player plays there, coaches there, then comes back, is able to use the gym to work out. Just a really good story.
Even assistant coach Brett Carey grew up in UNC Asheville under Coach
Eddie Biedenbach.
Exactly.
That's right. Spoke to him before the game. And
great connection to the state of North Carolina.
I told him, I said, tell Coach Biedenbach that I was ripping on him because Eddie's a good friend of mine. Great player at NC State back in the 60s. And great coach at Asheville. Really some good, solid teams.
There's a steal for Austin Peay. True freshman point guard Perkins drives in, and Mahorcic rises above.
Got numbers.
It's been a fast-paced game for Kevin Keats' club. Traquavion Smith draws second team foul on Austin Peay. And we'll take another quick media timeout. NC State continues a hot start on opening night. We'll have plenty of basketball when we come back. Stay with us here for the journey of Dusan Mahorcic from Lewis College to Mobley Community to Illinois State to Utah, and now in his grad year to NC State, covering all three of the four corners of the country in an adventurous 5-year journey.
He's been all over the place, I'll tell you, but a guy like that has to be able to go into programs, adapt, and he's not scared. He brings a certain toughness to this club that Coach Keats really... He said, this kid is tough. He's not backing down from anyone. And he's
the 23-year-old from Belgrade, Serbia brings some toughness. There's a miss for Morcell from three. Been a tough night from deep. 2 of 5 for Casey. Those are the type of looks he may get all season with the amount of scorers NC State has around him.
He's a capable scorer. He just needs to have a little more confidence, know that, that's a shot he can make. And like you said, he's going to get a lot of good looks.
Paez spins with 7. Nice look for the dunk.
That's a great look by Paez. He put it down on the floor, got into the lane, and saw the breaking Austin Peay player for the flush.
An offensive foul here on Breon pass. And nothing makes me smile better than a Princeton backdoor cut for a dunk.
There you go. That's beautiful. The flush. What a great athlete. Just finishes at the rim.
Pass to space, let Robinson go to work.
Yeah.
You don't see that in basketball as much anymore.
I was talking to the Austin Peay coaches before the game, and they said the one thing about Paez, they said he's tough. He's a Venezuelan kid, and he doesn't back down from anyone. And you saw right there, put his face right in Breon Pass's elbow and said, you know what, I'm not backing down. I'm ready to play.
Paez is a sports broadcasting major. Does some Olympic sports in the spring for his club. Might be taking our job in a couple of years on that miss.
That won't be hard, I'll tell you that. For me, not for you. You're a professional.
I'm Evan Budrovich. She's Traquavion Smith. Brings this crowd to life.
Say again, he can score in so many different ways. Plays with such great confidence. I mean, it's amazing to watch him out there.
22 quiet points for Traquavion tonight. Hutchins Everett bangs into Mahorcic. Ball taps around to Traquavion Smith. Look at this three-pointer from distance with the foul.
I tell you, he is so much fun to watch. He floats out there. He just kind of finds his way. He's like a surgeon, and then he rises up and hits a deep three. Boom, step back three. Boom, there's 3.
And then?
And let me give you 3 more with a chance to make it a 4-point play. I'll tell you, he's a surgeon out there. And he's really fun to watch.
96 three-pointers as a freshman. He has 3 more tonight. 2 pretty ones back-to-back.
The thing that makes Smith, I mean, he's so confident. He feels that he's the best player on the court every night. And most nights he is. But his confidence is one of the things that I'm so impressed with.
He also upped his point total to 26 in the blink of an eye. His career best is 34 in Chapel Hill back in January. Little Agent Zero action. Blocked.
So Ernest Ross, he got up off the floor and sent that one back. Again, great athlete. just a huge upside. Here you see the penetration, and Ross says, not today.
Think of the elite shot blocker, Manny Bates, who grad transferred to move on from the program. You replace him with some great size in Ross. By the way, Ross is a great clothing store, too. I know those are having some trouble with finances these days, but hard to miss. Old Navy, Ross, JCPenney.
You're always dressed to the nines, so
I'm
wherever your shopping's working.
Following your honors there, Coach, as Paez is fouled, he'll head to the free throw line for 3 free throws.
Yeah,
by the way, you got to get built shirts. Those skin-tight, form-fitting shirts. They make you look really good.
Have you seen my gut?
I know you're heading down to Miami this week, so you could get all dressed up to the nines. And
going down there with my wife because there's a hurricane down there. I'm originally from Miami. And got to go down there and take care of some things, and hopefully the hurricane doesn't hit us again. It's after November 1. The hurricanes are supposed to be well gone.
We'll certainly send our best wishes to the folks down in South Beach and that whole side of the coast. Carlos Paez playing in his 90th career game. Grew up in Venezuela, moved to Kansas for his high school career. From Nagua, Venezuela. If you read that, said, how do you pronounce that name? His hometown. As Chiquavion checks out with 26 points, a trio of Wolfpack players come in, including DJ Burns. The only difference I see between Zach Randolph and DJ Burns, DJ smiles a lot.
He does. He's a big, fun kid that really enjoys playing.
Sets a screen from a Horchich who banks it in.
Well, he's a tough guy inside. When he gets it down low, he's just big and strong. And they've got 3 guys like that, with Bouchon and DJ and then E.B. Duanza. Here we go, off to the races.
Up ahead to Joyner. Nifty finish.
Hey, he's a great athlete. He's fast. He's strong. He just exploded. He was about 20 feet from the basket. Got to the rim on one dribble.
And we'll take the timeout. NC State playing with athleticism and depth tonight. It all gets started with Quavion Smith. Look at this young man go to work in the second half. NC State doubling up Austin Peay. So their standout sophomore. The and one, a pretty to break. For the 14th time in Terquavion Smith's career, he notches 20 points. Very efficient night for the sophomore guard.
Yeah, did it on 13 shots so far, 9 of 13. He's just smooth, and it's a quiet 26.
Second ever meeting between these clubs goes back to 2009, NC State with Tracy Smith hitting a big three-pointer late. Wolfpack all-time 25-2 against members of the ASUN as Robinson slams it down.
I tell you, Robinson, he gets way above the rim. Nice speed, and tell you what, he's a good-looking player.
The San Jose State transfer, very athletic. Could be a big presence come conference play time in the ASUN. Remember last year the controversy of Bellarmine being in the conference final but ineligible with that D2 transfer rule. As the LaSalle transfer misses a 3. Burns cleans it up. Navigates. He has not missed all night.
Tell you what, he turns that shoulder and he creates plenty of space, and that little jump hook, that's really effective.
Ten points in the NC State debut for DJ Burns.
And a number of guys tonight have come out from the very beginning and had nice debuts.
You see Burns there holding serve in the middle of the lane. Tough look. And Calderon can't hit. Burns just muscles the ball to the ground.
Just pushed him away. He's a big one.
Mahorcic gets space. That's a nice finish.
Yeah, nice finish. Nice speed by Clark. You know, finished with the left hand in there. I tell you, Duchamp plays with great energy and emotion. And whether he's going to start or come off the bench, he's going to have a nice year this year.
Paez gets the friendly bounce.
That's the guy you have to worry about, is the guy with the ball. He was in the lane and all the defenders just skirted, and Paez was able to finish with the left hand.
Carlos Paez played for the U18 Venezuela national team coming out of high school with Sharif Mitchell of Creighton and Demarius Washington of Kansas State, 2 high prospects. As Joyner misses a rare 3. Look at Paez running the point. Veteran point guard, 90 career starts. You're never as good as your best game, never as bad as your worst game. I think that's the challenge for these two.
Well, I think they'll learn a lot from this game. They've had some nice plays. They haven't put together a sequence both on the offense and defensive end, but they have had some nice plays, back doors, dunks. So there's some positives that Nate James can take from this.
Nate James, who spent a decade as a Duke coach and won a national title as a player, he returns to Raleigh this weekend. Tough sledding, heading to Purdue on Friday.
But the hopes of all that is for his team to start learning about one another, to come together, play in hostile environments, and then they go back and play conference ball.
Gear up for December 29th against Queens and North Florida to start the year.
Exactly. So they'll take their lumps, get paid to do it. They get some little payouts on these games, but it's good for these kids to have the opportunity to play in these type of settings.
Nate James talks about the overall development of his student athletes, not just the one-and-done transfer. He wants to build from the ground up. So insert 8 sophomores in his first 2 years.
Well, his mentor has done a pretty good job over in Durham over the years, so he certainly is going to try to lead from that legacy.
DJ Burns tried to play volleyball with himself.
He hasn't missed a shot. Why wouldn't you shoot it?
That's technically a miss, too, so he's 5 of 6 now. Maybe the shortest shot of his life.
I thought it was a pass that he was trying to hit with him.
We could always review those things after the game and update the stat crew.
Exactly. Let's keep him batting 1,000.
Paez looks up at 5. Chucks up a deep 3. And this scrum goes to Smith, who chucks it ahead. Marcel spins. Creates space.
Does a great job. The one thing about Casey in these situations, always under control. He goes at his pace, hit him with a nice head fake, and then was able to lay it in.
This game reminds me a lot of Corey Maggette, formerly the LA Clippers back in the early 2000s.
Look up, look up.
Whoop. Loose ball, scrum. Look at that pass. Are you kidding me?
He knew he had him early, then he lost the ball, but to have the whereabout to make that pass is incredible. That's the maturity that Coach Keats wants to see.
It's one thing to have 5 assists, but the behind-the-back 360 spin for the pass. Courts, you were a point guard in college and the pros. How do you pull that off?
I'll tell you what, you got to know where you are at all times, and he certainly did.
Look at this lob,
beautiful.
And Rice
Beautiful.
home.
He's a pure point guard. Joyner is someone that NC State hasn't had for many years. He makes everybody else a little bit better out there. Right there, you saw him with a nice feed.
A true facilitator for this offense.
Give it up. Oh, here you go.
There's the dunk. 90 points in the first 33 minutes.
I tell you, Coach Keats is going to love the pressure, but he's going to love the fact that they're sharing the sugar. Everybody's getting involved.
Well, if he came for offense, he came to the right place here in Raleigh. Terquavion Smith with 26. His team's got plenty more. Searching to replace 44 points from NC State scoring last year, insert a quadruple header of grad transfers and 48 in the debut of these 4 new players.
Well, I tell you, they didn't waste any time to make a positive impact for the Wolfpack and Coach Keats. They all have come out and really been impressive. Joyner, to me, really has set the tone on the defensive end. DJ Burns just got a really nice offensive efficiency, and you know, there's a lot to build on. I'm sure Coach Keats has been very pleased.
Look at this pressure defensively, and Robinson comes up short. But Ernest Ross took the worst of that one. I think he might have got poked in the eye.
Looked like there was a scrum for the ball.
Out comes head coach Kevin Keats to check on his forward.
Sometimes you get that little finger in the eye, and it is more irritating than anything. Looks like Coach Keats is over there telling him a joke or something. He's got a big smile on his face.
That's sometimes the best thing you can do as a coach.
That's
Keep
right.
it light.
Yeah. It's funny, we were talking to Coach Keats earlier before the game, and he mentioned to us both that, you know, this is the healthiest ball club he has had day one, which is really positive. You know, in the years past, there's injuries, and it really sets you back. He's been able to really work hard in practice, focus. You know, the competition has been great. And, you know, when you're healthy, you can do those type of things. So it's good to be healthy to start the year.
Certainly helps with a balance of scoring. 7 players have got on the board tonight. Casey Morcell, wide left open. He's hit 2 3-pointers tonight, something to watch all year long. How can he score? The dime certainly helps, but a foul on the floor. That's a blocking foul.
Nice pass to E.B. Dewan. I tell you, E.B.'s a player that was really thrown into the fire last year and, you know, stepped up and had some really good moments. You know, this year there's a number of bigs that are competing for time, but, you know, E.B.'s one of those guys last year that, you know, wasn't expected to play much, and he had some very good moments for the Wolfpack.
Ebenezer Dewan at 27 starts with a Manny Bates injury in the opening 2 minutes to open the year last year here at home. We were on the call for that, wondered, well, how's this NC State team going to respond? An all-conference forward out. Look at that lob. And Robinson there to clean it up.
I tell you, Robinson is way above the rim. He's not just dunking it. His head is looking down on it. But they've had some really nice plays in the second half. So, you know, again, I think there's some positives they can build off of.
Robinson plays on pogo sticks. He can explode if there's a foul on Peay.
Little penetration. I tell you, he gets up so high.
Tigers are made for bouncing. That's what Tigers do. Bouncy.
I can do that on the 8-foot goals. I'm actually way above the rim, just like Robinson. But looks fun to be able to do that.
You were talking about that pregame, too, having your hands all knocked up, hitting the rim.
Yeah, my dad was my high school coach, and I'd come back and my wrists were bleeding. And my dad said, "What in the heck are you doing?" I said, "I'm dunking on the 8-foot goals." And boy, he didn't like that at all.
As NC State knocks down its 9th 3-pointer of the night.
I tell you, Clark shot Evan every time he releases it. Even if he doesn't make it, you feel like it's going in. Just a beautiful, beautiful shot.
Clark, a double-figure scorer at LaSalle last year for the Explorers out of the A-10.
And you had mentioned earlier, Casey Marcel's one of those guys that's going to be the beneficiary of all the attention that Terkervian's going to get. And Clark's another. You know, he's going to get some open looks.
The supporting cast behind Terquavion Smith tonight's been really good. 4 in double figures behind this talented sophomore. Now our first look at Nathan Moore, the Wallace State Community College transfer, who turns it away. Oh, a lot of contact. Letting them play in the second half. And I'm surprised there were no whistles there as it goes out of bounds.
It could have been, you know, when it's 93-42, you let some of that go from time to time.
It feels like an umpire calling a bunch of strikes on the corner late in the game.
He got tackled at half court, then there was a collision underneath the bucket. But
who said basketball's a non-contact sport? Breon Pass, who was an all-state football standout at Reidsville, kicks it outside.
Breon's kind of player that they're going to need out there. You got your dynamic duo with Joyner and Smith, but you know, Breon's going to be counted on for some solid minutes this year.
Fauntleroy hit the bottom of the bucket and then got smashed like a PB&J. Leads to the transition for Pass, who commits the offensive foul.
Yeah, that's one I know Breon wishes he had back. He had Marcel for the dish off. But they're the kind of things, I mean, you can't have a perfect game. Coach Keats had a perfect first half.
Right.
Can't have a perfect game. There's things that he'll watch, sit down. You know, that's what coaching is. You look at the game film, you make adjustments.
What do you want to see then in a quote-unquote blowout second half with 5 minutes left? How do you evaluate these minutes?
You just want to stay focused. You know, you don't want to get to the point where you're doing things that aren't going to help you in the future. You know, you want to stay sound.
I'm going to ignore the foul for a second and just marvel at the Dewana block.
I'll tell you, he got up off the ground, and unfortunately it...
It's like a magnet.
I'll tell you, he's capable of doing that again. He'll be the third big inside, and there's going to be games where we're going to need him in there for the fouls. And, you know, last year he got some positive minutes.
A chicken biscuit is on the line with this free throw.
Yep, with 4:26, I think a lot of the crowd is here just to see this.
Kalechi Okorogo to the free throw line. It's the second.
Crowd did not like that. No free biscuits right now.
And DJ Burns, good shot from the producers there. They wanted it. He knows the tradition. Ernest Ross with a nifty step through and another offensive foul.
Yeah, they're the kind of things that, you know, Coach Keats, and he wants to see you play under control. Don't let the score dictate the way you're playing now, because a lot of these guys are out here competing for minutes going forward in the season. So play smart, play the right way, under control.
How about Nathan Moore in 5 minutes, 3 charges? That'll earn you some playing time come ASUN competition.
That is laying your body on the line and doing what it takes. You know, that's like creating 3 turnovers.
Only 8 turnovers for NC State tonight.
They've done a great job of defensively hounding the ball, and on the offensive side, really taking care of it. You know, when you're taking care of that ball, you're allowing the defense not to have any easy buckets. It's, you know, it's a vital stat. Whoever turns it over less is going to usually end up with a W.
Final 4 minutes of the second half as Paez draws a foul.
I tell you, Paez has had a wonderful second half. Really good passes for some assists.
And we'll take the media timeout. 4 minutes to play. Stick around, folks. I'm going to make Chris Corciani laugh when we return. DJ Burns learning the new traditions here at NC State. And if an opponent misses 2 free throws, the entire student section and crowd gets a free chicken biscuit. But unfortunately for DJ and crew, they could not go 1 or 2 from the line.
He's over there having a good time. He had a big first game, and he's rooting on. He wanted everybody to get the free biscuits.
Does that apply to the broadcast crew, too?
Absolutely. I've got a ticket. I'm a season ticket holder. I got a ticket. All I have to do is bring it in.
And look at that wing from young KJ Keats. If that name sounds familiar, that's the son of the head coach, Kevin Keats.
I'll tell you, he's good friends with my son, Hugo. He's a great kid, really good high school player, but he's a great kid.
No biscuits tonight in Carlos Paez's eyes.
Not yet. Not yet.
Now, in this man's eyes, I'm curious, does he watch his son? Does he watch the team? There's got to be some excitement for his collegiate debut.
You do a little bit of both. I'm sure Coach is over there hoping that he gets one up and knocks it in. He hit a real nice shot in the preseason game.
Along with L.J. Thomas, the freshman, checking in, some new faces, and Chase Graham, the Raleigh native, comes in.
I tell you, when you're up so big, you know, you let everybody out there is working hard, so it's nice to see.
Good pressure by Austin Peay defensively as Keats catches with 10. KJ drives in, throws some contact, and it goes the other way.
Look at Coach Keats on the bench.
He
He's
didn't
like,
move an
give
inch.
it to him, give it to him.
He didn't move an inch to watch his son.
Tell you, nice strong drive by
You be the judge at home.
KJ. Oh, he's moving. That's a bucket. That's and one. Just happens to be good friends with my son, so I'm pulling hard for him.
And now Kevin says, get back on defense. Get back on defense.
Exactly.
To his freshman son checking in at Cary, North Carolina. This spent his whole high school career here in Raleigh with his dad taking the job from UNC Wilmington 6 years ago.
I tell you, he's been around the program. He's practiced with them, and it's good to see him out there.
Ernest Ross runs the break. Interesting. A lot of contact, and Thomas comes out with it and gives it away. The lob. Whoop. Not the cleanest final 4 minutes tonight.
You lob the ball to him. Anywhere around the rim, he will dunk it. You just can't lob it to him out of bounds.
Sounds like a sport on ESPN 8, the Ocho. Lob jam. A lot of creativity with Robinson down there. Substitutes aplenty here late in the basketball game, including Jordan Snell, the true freshman from Panther Creek High School here in Cary.
Yeah, and his father is Coach Snell, the director of basketball operations. So,
and Alex Nunnally checks in. Another Cary native.
They've got them all getting in. They're getting good minutes. You know, usually walk-ons get the last 30, 45 seconds. These guys are getting 3-4 minutes.
Final 3 minutes for a walk-on heavy lineup for Coach Kevin Keats. Open shooter. Three-pointer.
Ah, that's great. Good ball movement.
The reaction priceless on Jordan Snell's first triple.
Yeah, Thomas Jr. made a nice look to the corner, and Snell knocked it down for his first career bucket.
By the way, NC State knocking on the door of 100 points.
NC State sitting in a little zone. You're going to see a little bit of zone this year from NC State.
And a foul with 2 seconds on the clock.
And that's something historically Coach Keats has been.
Do you remember your first basket at NC State?
No. I remember my first assist to Charles Shackelford.
With 1,000+ assists in your career, of course.
Those are some fun times. There we go. They went to chicken again here.
Carlos Paez to the line. Paez in his career, by the way, is an excellent free throw shooter. 89% at Austin Peay.
That's
not the guy to choose if you want a free biscuit.
No, we call a guy like that, he's dependable. We want a guy like that on the stripe all throughout the game. He knocks down two. So not getting any chicken, free biscuits if he's on the line.
9 points for Paez tonight. Thomas, the step back. Rare miss for NC State. 62% shooting. Leaking ahead. And a foul. Nunnally tripped up Jalen Ware in transition. And a round of applause for Nunnally.
Generally, you wouldn't want to foul somebody out of control, but the crowd has more important things on their mind.
Chicken. Austin Peay's been great from the free throw line tonight. Here's Jalen Ware.
I wonder if he has any idea what's going on. Are these fans that crazy? They're happy I missed the free throw?
Let's step aside, partner, and listen to this free throw. A chicken biscuit on the line for the home faithful. You would have thought the game ended on that three-pointer.
Still 2 minutes. 2 minutes left.
NC State on the verge of its 28th home opening win in the last 29 years. And a three for Chase Graham.
Chase knocked it down. Another guy that's been on the team a long time, worked extremely hard, great practice player.
Loose ball scrum, scooped up by Bates as we hit the final minute 45 of this game. This will stay here. Austin Peay's hit just one three-pointer tonight. How about the defensive intensity of NC State?
You know, they've played great pressure defense. They've rotated well. They've challenged the shooters. Not a lot on the defensive end that they haven't done extremely well.
Fauntleroy slips in. Back to Moore. Tight angle. Boy, the Bunnies have been tough to come by tonight. And a free throw. This is incredible to watch.
You would think they're rooting for Austin Peay. The home crowd has turned on the Wolfpack cheering.
You would think it's 99-96 with a minute 20 to play. Biscuits on the line. As Jacob Roberts checks in for Austin Peay. First minutes for the sophomore to Memphis.
Hey, thus far, everything has gone well for the Wolfpack other than
free throws.
Two missed free throws.
18 of 20, Austin Peay tonight. Very efficient. Here's L.J. Thomas, a talented four-star freshman. He turned it over. It's that NBA carry you don't get away with at the college levels.
Oh, my goodness. NBA carry. NBA, you could take 4 or 5 steps. Kind of do whatever you want to do.
Final minute here on the opening night of college basketball, and an air ball. Do you give the ball to KJ Keith, the son of the head coach, number 13 in white?
Yeah.
Chase Graham kicks it that way, and he's fouled. NC State far away from the bonus, so they'll take it out.
Hey, there hadn't been a lot of fouls in this game. Not many free throws, not many fouls. That's the thing I said earlier. I'm impressed, NC State, with all that pressure. They did a good job of not fouling.
A bevy of walk-ons checking in, and young freshmen. Here's Chase Graham, little ISO ball. Wanted 100 points with that triple.
Just going to sit back in the 2-3 zone.
As Roberts misses the jumper. Leak out. Keats missed the three. The son of the head coach couldn't benefit his team to 100. And the crowd begging for a foul in the final 7 seconds. Roberts drives in, no. A turnover. Austin Peay, 21 turnovers tonight. Credit NC State.
Yeah, there's a lot to clean up. Credit NC State, but Austin Peay, they just didn't handle the pressure from the very beginning.
A wire-to-wire victory. NC State dominates 99-50 as Kevin Keats' club dominant with Terquavion Smith and crew. They start 1-0 with an impressive home win.
It's got to feel good for Coach Keats to get that first victory, but also look very impressive. The new guys really shine tonight. It's a very good start for the Wolfpack.
28th home opening win for NC State in the last 29 years, thanks to that young man, Terquavion Smith. He had 26 points. But more impressively, efficient scoring. He had the 5 assists.
Yes.
Dominant night for Smith.
Yeah, very efficient. Didn't force anything. He really let the game come to him. He's just a very good ball player. One of the best in the ACC.
5 in double figures for NC State tonight. It was a transfer-heavy roster for Kevin Keats, and they came to play against Austin Peay. For my partner, Chris Corciani, I'm Evan Budrovich saying good night from Raleigh, North Carolina. The Wolfpack dominate a wire-to-wire victory over the Austin Peay Governors. NC State back in action on Friday against those Campbell fighting Camels. Austin Peay hits the road for Purdue. But tonight, the Wolfpack dominant win led by Terquavion Smith and Jarkel Joyner. We'll see you next time. This is a presentation of ESPN. The Wolfpack take it 99-50.